baby, and get some booms. This playthrough is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so let's go. We go directly into the action in Expert. So, I'm going to explain to you what I did here. Is that I put myself in a landing position where I was using 2 bars of side spin to the left and 2.5 bar top spin. I then adjust 1 on 1, which means 1 ring per every mile per hour. Look at this roll here, coming in very, very, very nicely. Get in the hole! So close. So, again, the thing that I want to do here is that I do want to find myself a spot where I can get it very close to the pin, if so in. So again, I take it again. 1 on 1 adjustment. That means that you play it 1 ring per every mile per hour. So if you would be playing it with the wind that our opponent is having now, 10.4 in wind should be 10.4 rings. I play with a quarterback, as the quarterback gives me a very good ball guideline and also a good accuracy. You could see as well that I was putting my landing position basically in the center of the fairway and wanted to rely on the ball guideline there. For you that maybe have a quarterback level 8, level 9 with not that good ball guideline, try to replicate the landing position, but put in pause on the video, take a screenshot. That's the easiest way to go with. 2.5 bar top spin and 2 bars of side spin to the left, then we're going to be there. Before we go to hole number 2, do not forget to check out patreon.com/golfclashtommy. There you can get the updated text guides, which will be out during the day. The updated text guides will always be out on a Tuesday, where it will be pinpointed directions on how to play the shot, landing position, spin, etc. Also, do not forget to subscribe to the channel, be a sub. Important, hit that bell button so you get a notification every time we are live streaming or make a video. So, hole number 2. Now it's time to bag the eagle here, guys. Very important as well. This is a must eagle. And when we do have a headwind, we need to pay attention to the compressed ball guideline. And what is a compressed ball guideline? Is that when you do have headwind, the ball guideline is not going to show, or like it's going to show the same type of bounce as it would be with 0 wind. But in headwind, the ball when it hits the ground is going to lose speed and therefore is going to bounce a lot shorter than expected. So take a look here now. First, we're going to move our landing position, going to use a spin that is 5.5 bar top spin. And if you don't have 5.5 bar and you have less, then you go with the most that you can do. Yellow ring just by the rough there on the top, so you can see, look at the ball, the second bounce should be just there on the top. And also I do apply 2 bars of side spin to the right, as we're using a lot of top spin here, and the risk is that we're going to get it completely in the rough on the other side if we're not using those side spin. I played 4.3 rings, which is max numbers with a 10% over adjustment. Very important. And take a look here at this ball here, bounce very nicely. Take the rough and we roll out, and the side spin kick us into the right, and we put ourselves in there for a very, 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 very nice putt. So we take that one and we go directly to hole number 3. Hole number 3 here is going to be a par 5. We're going to have to want to play with the 20% over adjustment. And the drive is going to be a bit tricky, but with this type of wind we can actually have the visual correct. With a crosswind we will be having all the trees in our face, so thank you Playdemic for giving us this wind. Max side spin, take a look at the landing position. Yellow ring with Apocalypse just by the rough to the side. I would be using the same type of reference with the extra mile as well, and also with the Thor's hammer. Now we're going to play this one for being 7.5 rings, and as you can see there, I'm playing it from max distance of my club, or almost I would say, but I play it with max numbers with a 20% over adjustment. Then we go with a slight curl there in the end and push ourselves in there, going in between the rough there to the left and the rough and the sand on the right. We could go with a little bit more curl to the right if we wanted to have a more straight aligned shot towards the pin there. Because the problem here now is that we do have some trees in our face, but it will and it shouldn't not be any problem here for us. The second shot here, I would say with this tailwind, we can actually play with a sniper. If we would be having side wind or crosswind, side wind or crosswind, same, but crosswind or headwind, then I would suggest that you play with a big dog or a cataclysm that gives you that extra distance, those extra yards to play with. But now I'm going to play with a sniper myself, as with tailwind, we can use the wind if we would be needing more distance here. So, okay, we are going to go here as well. We'll take a look at the adjustment here. And you can see we do have the trees to the left. So if we hit it massively great to the left, that's going to be a problem. I go with max side spin. And then we're going to go with a little bit of backspin. We do need a little bit of backspin in this case. As for the extended ball guideline, the ball is going to bounce longer than expected due to the tailwind in our back. So we are in basically max distance, or like 10 yards in front. So we're going to play it for being in between max and mid numbers. We're not going to go any curl. It looks very, very scary for the trees here, but actually this part of the trees are not in play. So we can just shoot through it here. We're coming in very nicely, but coming in with a little bit too much side spin. But close though, and a good distance here. So if we take away a little bit of side spin, then we're going to be good. No elevation adjustment for the second shot. We just play it as it is. Hole number 4. It's time for the sniper again. I love to listen to ABBA at the same time, you know. Shining like the sun. So, okay. Sniper, our opponent go first. Play with a power 2 ball. You can play with a power 2 ball or a power 1 ball if you want to. But I would suggest that you play with a ball that gives you a decent wind resistance with at least a power 1. I will play with a Kingmaker, power 3, wind resistance 3 to reduce the wind a little bit here. And I'm still going to play with the sniper. I'm not going to play that high as our opponent is doing. I'm going to play it a little bit lower. Opponent hits it great, but still going to be okay. It's going to stop pretty nicely here towards the pin. And this hole is a hole that we cannot really expect to drop an hole in one. We can just at least try to be as close as possible. So now we're going to start by saying we need to over adjust this shot for being 10% extra. And that is because of the slight downhill approach. Now you can see here I'm going to over adjust this one a lot in terms of with my landing position. 4 bars of side spin and all but the last piece of bar in backspin with the sniper. And you can see here I'm having the white ring just completely in the rough there on the bottom. And then we're going to adjust, and I'm going to adjust this one for 8.3 rings. So I'm going to play this shot for 1-on-1. And again, 1-on-1 means 1 ring per every mile per hour. Hit it perfect. Take a look at the bounce now. Bounce where we wanted to, and with the extended ball guideline due to the tailwind, it's going to bring us so much more further with the bounce there that we're going to almost get to the pin. We're going to take away a little bit more backspin for the next try, then we're going to be spot on. But at least a safe birdie, which is of course okay. Hole number 5, par 5, which in my opinion with the rough bump is definitely going to be an opportunity. Like everything is an opportunity, but a good opportunity. So we're going to start off here by not doing what our opponent did. That's completely in water, but like sand. But doesn't really matter, it's not why we're here. So take a look at the landing position as a start. 5 bars top spin and as much side spin to the right as possible. I'm going to use the yellow ring as a reference here. And the yellow ring is just going to be by the rough to the right as a start. Then we're going to adjust our shot for being 10% over adjusted with max numbers. Then we pull it up to max distance again, as we do want to go with as little overpower as possible. Look at the curl. I'm going to go with the ball just being like 80% outside to the right. Now I hit it massively great, but works well anyway. The thing that I of course want to achieve is to hit the ball perfect we will be coming in with not that long roll, because I don't like this roll that I did get with this ball here, because now I'm going to be in a rough bump position with my short iron. And in the end, with a short iron in this position, it might well be better for you to play with a backspin approach on the back of the green to let it fall back down. But for me in this case, I wanted to show the rough bump, and it's easier to show it and talk you through it. Because if you do find yourself in a case where you're either going to have the short iron or the long iron, it's going to slightly be different for you. So with a short iron, you need max topspin, and max topspin with a short iron is 4 bars of topspin here on the thorn. And so we're going to put max as 4 bars for us here with the short iron. And then we're going to play here with max side spin to the right to try to straighten the ball guy out completely. You can see here we do have a little hill here that we do need to use good. So actually 4.5 bar, I need to correct myself there. Having the yellow ring just by the rough there. But this is going to be tough to get it up towards the pin here, because with the in medium distance of our club, we're not going to come in with such power that we want to here. I'm going to talk you through when it comes to the long iron approach as well. Then we'll use 1.5 bar topspin, and we'll aim slightly to the right of the pin if you don't have a ball guideline to follow. So slightly to the right of the pin, then you're going to be there. Adjust the shot for being as it is. So if it is in medium distance, you play medium distance. If it is max, it is max. If it is min, it is min. So hole number 6. I like this hole. I like this hole a lot. Reason I like this hole is that I've been playing them it so many times with this type of wind, so it's pretty not easy, but it's more simple for me to dial this shot in. So red ring just by the rough on the right, and as you can see, I'm using 5 bars of side spin to the right. You can use more if you want to, but like I don't want to use full. Then I also go with 2 or 3 bars of topspin depending on what I feel for the occasion. But 2 or 3, you will be you will be fine. You can see here with the crosswind we're having here, we're going to be pushed to the left, and then we push ourselves back with the side spin to just get perfectly straight there. Also, we do want to play the drive for being in maximum distance with an over adjustment of 5%. Not 10 as normal, only 5. So now we are setting ourselves up for a second shot that is going to be awesome. I like the second shot a lot. And you know, the feeling you get when you find yourself in a spot where you actually know that this is a shot that you have been dropping so many times, you have such a confidence boost when you go into that. And mentally that is going to help big time. That you know that, okay, if I just hit it perfect, it's going to be very close or it's going to be in. So our opponent plays with a quarterback. Well played. That could be a play as well. I like to play with extra mile due to the distance. It's an easier reference to work with. Don't have to go with that much topspin either. So we take a look in terms of what distance are we going to be. We're going to be in minimum distance of our club with a power 3 ball here. I'm going to play this shot. As you can see here, we're going to have tailwind, so I don't want to use that much side spin. So I want to use 1, and then we go with 4.5 bar backspin. It's going to be in the end. And then I'm going to adjust for being just 1 square before the pin, with still the ball guy like kind of pointing, so it should be rolling towards the pin. And the reason I do that is for the extended ball guy line due to the tailwind that we're going to get a longer first bounce. Hit it perfect, get in the hole. Bounce nicely, coming in here, and it bites and it rolls very nicely in there for an eagle on hole number 6. I will take it. I will take it. We can get some. I will actually put a boom here. I normally don't do that. Boom! No. There we have the boom. Hole number 7. Okay. So how should we play hole number 7? We are going to make a minor tweak from the adjustment I'm going to do here. I'm going to take you through the adjustment first, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts in the end here. bounce here. Our opponent makes a good shot, coming a straight one square too, like 1.5 square too much to the left, but still very easy putt. Okay, our turn. First, we need to have in mind we're going to over adjust our shot with 10% from the distance it is in. So we're going to play this one in the minimum distance of our club. But I'm going to play this one, as you can see, with a little bit more than 2 bars of backspin. Like 2.5 bar would be good. You can see I'm also having the ball guide line 1 square to the right here with only 1 bar of side spin to the right. And that is going to be the adjustment for this particular shot. And then we're going to line up and we're going to take the shot. So we play this shot for being 8 rings. And take a look here now. I'm not using any curl. And the thing that goes wrong here is not that we are hitting the wrong spot, is that we're using too little side spin there to the right. So I want you to actually go with 3.5 bar side spin to the right. And the ball guide is going to look really weird, but it does work. So 3.5 bar side spin to the right, otherwise the same type of adjustment. So minimum distance with a 10% over adjustment, and then the landing position at the same spot, 2.5 bar backspin, then we're going to be there fighting for the hole in one. So hole number 8, a par 4, which I'm going to show you 2 shots, and it's going to be right side on both. And the thing is here that players that do have a power 4, power 5 balls is having a huge advantage. Why is that? It's because of the wind. The wind that we're having here is slightly headwind. And going with, even with an Apocalypse level 5 that I'm going to show you here, with a power 3 ball, we're not going to be even close to get it to green. Even if we go max overpower, hit it absolutely smashed down perfect. And the thing is here that, you know, of course, if you do have the ball, if you do have the club, then you're going to go for it. That's how it is. If you don't have the club and the ball for it, I will say the ball for it, because I've made it even with an extra mile here over with a power 5 ball that I'm going to show you later, then you will have to play left. And you have to go for the pin from the left side instead. You can see I have Apocalypse level 5. I'm going max top spin and a little bit of side spin to the left. And you can see I'm changing to the Thor. I'm level 6. Still the same result here. I lose 8 yards, but gaining that in terms of top spin. So the landing position, or like the second bounce, would have been the same. But I do have a little bit more carry when it comes to the Apocalypse here. So go with 1 ball of curl to the left, and we hit this ball great, but that was very close to a perfect. Look now how short this ball is going to bounce. Just over the water, and we have no chance whatsoever to get to the pin. So, okay, the thing that we're going to do here, if we find ourselves in a spot like this, that we only have power 3 balls, which many of you will have. There isn't that many, especially new to expert, doesn't have that many berserker balls. But if you do have, then you need to play with a berserker ball. Or with a power 4 ball, power 5 ball. The gear ball would be absolutely perfect. That has power 5 wind resistance too. But it's not that many to have it. Or the dual ball would be perfect as well. Power 4, wind resistance 4 would be absolutely perfect. But there isn't that many that has a dual ball either. So, in the end, we want to go in with the feeling that we do want to go left. If we do have only a power 3 ball to play with, if we do have a power 5 ball or a power 4 ball, then we're going to go for it. Our opponent gets, get in! That's so close. I remember I was rooting for him to get that shot because it was a okay lined up shot. A little bit unlucky there with the backspin though. Okay, so now this is still a rough iron, but you can see how close I was to the water. And that is not a risk that we do want to take, because if we would be hitting a great right, the ball would be pushed more to the right, and the longer out to the right we come, the further ahead the water is going to be. So the water is going to be very much in play here. So even though I've hit it perfect, I just slightly under adjust the wedge here. Unfortunately, would have been a nice eagle. Yes, taking the edge. So, second try now. Now we're gonna go in and we're going to play with the berserker ball. And look here, even though if I have 11.4 in wind, I'm having 6 bars of topspin, max, side spin. We're going to have we are going to have a lot of power to work with here, which in this case is going to help big time. So in this case, I'm going to over adjust with 15% due to the downhill approach. So I'm going to play this one 6.9 rings. And then I'm going to go max overpower, always max overpower, with the ball just outside there to the left side of the adjustment ring. In curl, max overpower, you can see we're coming in a little bit too much to the left, but you can see we get a good bounce and a good distance especially. And we hit the rough and we roll out. And we're going to land on the fringe and we're going to give ourselves a very neat and easy eagle. So, again, can't stress that enough, and the reason I want to show 2 different approaches here, or 2 two different situations, I would have to say, on this hole, is that this hole is so important. If you have a couple of berserkers and you're fighting there for the top score, then you play with a berserker. If you are playing to get to the weekend round and you just have a couple of berserkers, then this might not be the time for you to pull out the berserker ball if you're not considering playing the golden shot that is coming out most likely on the Monday after the tournament has ended. Because that's what I do with my accounts. If I do need to play with a berserker, I make sure that I do play the free shot in the hard one for the golden shot. And if I do spend a lot, then I will have to maybe invest in the golden shot. Not saying that you should invest, you just do decide whatever you want to do. But at least I have that in my mind that I might have to do that, because a berserker ball can come handy in some occasions. And for those of you that do play like as a free to play account, then the golden shot is important with the free shot there, so don't mess it up. So short wedge shouldn't be a problem at all. We should be putting it just inside the cup on the right side there, or like just by the right side. And then it's going to be no problem, and we take the eagle. Going crazy. Good! Hole number 9. And hole number 9 is going to be tough. And there is some players that are going with the trick shot, which is hook shot in this case. I don't blame them for doing so. It's absolutely possible. But I'm going to show you safe approach to get the eagle where we don't have to go with a trick shot. Then of course we can apply that if we feel that we do have the skill, but in a playthrough and in a video I do never want to suggest a play style that is not speaking for the bigger audience. So we adjust our drive for being over adjusted 10%. Very important. You can see as well I was using some side spin, was using like 2 to 3 bars of side spin here. I could have gone with a little bit more as we're punching ourselves in there to the center a little bit too much. Also using 4 bars of topspin here, and I would like to go with a little bit more. 5 would be perfect. You can see we still are there on the top. And now for the second shot, we're going to have straight tailwind, so we actually have a lot of room there. We can just make sure that we stay away from the rough, please. So, drive over adjusted 10%. Now the second shot is not going to be over adjusted at all. So our opponent hits it great, and you know, in the end, can we just stay away from the rough? That would be perfect. So this one is going to be better than mine, even though it was great, because it's closer to the left side. The closer we are to the left side, the better it's going to be. So, have the Cataclysm level 6, and of course that's a very leveled up Cataclysm. I would suggest that you play with a club that gives you at least 175 yards. If that is the Cataclysm in level 2, then go with that one. If it is the big dog in level 6, then you go with that one instead. So, you decide which club you're going to play with, and you play with one that gives you the most. 2 bars of backspin is what I'm going to use, and a tiny bit of side spin to the left here. I'm dragging it up and then adjusting my shot after that. Going to have a tiny bit of overpower, not that much, as I do want to reach a little bit further there. I'm going to bounce on the fairway nicely, and the 2 bars of backspin will make it stop. This is a potential albatross hole in my opinion, especially if we get a little bit closer to the left side with our drive. Thank you so much for watching this playthrough for Expert Division, and I hope this is going to be helpful for you to get that at least a -14 for 9 holes that we are looking for to bag home. Maybe something extra would be perfect as well. If you do want to get the updated text guides, you can get them through patreon.com/golfclashtommy. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel as well, and check out the other playthroughs. You can find links to them in the video description down below for Rookie, Pro, and now Expert, and then you will find the one for Master as well. This video is sponsored by Golf Clash and Playdemic, so good luck in the Winter Slopes tournament.